but you don't have to answer. But I see you got the
No
trans
kidding.
flag and.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Yeah.
So can you explain that why do you believe in I guess transgenderism or transgender rights? Like how do you what do you believe?
So I'm non-binary, and I think it's less of that and more of that I've seen that people that have more that when they feel non-binary or they feel trans and they have do whatever makes them feel happier,
Right.
they tend to be happier as a result, lower rates of mental illness, lower rates of suicide, etc. So I guess it's less of like, I don't know, less of like believing that something just metaphysically exists, and more of
Okay.
like, hey, this is something that we've seen people that are more likely to want to undergo certain maybe procedures or just change their name or pronouns and whatnot. It makes them happier. And yeah.
I appreciate that nuance. So you don't believe there's any sort of metaphysical reality to the claims of transgenderism. It's more just like how people feel. Is that
Yeah.
so? Okay, so basically, it's sort of like people should be allowed to identify the way they want, take the hormones based on how they feel, irrespective of um, metaphysical reality.
Yeah.
So, what? So for me, it's like, I don't see it quite the same way, but I respect you for having the opinion, and you seem like a really nice person. So no judgment. So for me, like let's say I wanted to. I view this kind of view like a Lego set view of the body and of humanity, where I can kind of alter myself the way I want. Sort of like I can add, if I want to add another arm or something like that. Do you think that's okay?
I mean, like, I guess I don't, like, if someone loses an arm, then
Yeah.
then like that's a part of their body that they should probably be able to have
Sure.
back. So I guess I wouldn't compare it to like having a third arm. It's more like
Yeah.
you lose an arm, now you have like a prosthetic or
Yeah.
something like that.
What if I want to identify as black? Could I do that? Even though I'm not black at all. I've had the ancestry.com thing. Like, would you have an issue with, like, where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line with like affirming like that my identity, how I identify myself, should correspond with reality?
I'm not sure. I'm really not. I know that there are people that firmly believe that they're that they're black even when they don't appear to be black. I don't really know. I don't.
What's your name, by the way?
I'm Skye.
I'm Jeremy. So nice to meet you.
you.
So, do you mind if I share just like briefly, 30 seconds, like how I view the
Sure.
issue? Yeah, this is basically the gospel. This isn't related to transgenderism. This is more just the heart of the Bible. We're not trying to promote change people's political views. It's more just the gospel. But the way I view human nature is that it's not that like the Lego set view where I can adjust myself and alter myself. I consider it like we're ruined masterpieces. That we're like, everybody is broken. I'm broken. Everybody's broken, and that penetrates to the depths of gender, sexuality, and every area of life. There's just brokenness in our souls, but we're like ruined masterpieces, and God is in the art restoration business. So He's basically restoring us after His original intent.
Yeah.
You have like a ruined masterpiece, like a ruined Mona Lisa. You don't have the freedom as an art restorer to just change essential details. You're trying to restore it to the original artist's intent.
Yeah.
So my view is that what Jesus has done, He's come into this world and was broken for us. When we do the Lord's Supper and break the bread, He says, "This is my body broken for you." Jesus was broken for us on the cross so that we can be made whole, and Jesus can restore the brokenness in our lives. When it comes to the issue with transgenderism, I think, like you, I would say that I really do love these people, and I've had good friends that are have gone all the way and are. But I also see that there's about 40+% suicide rate. How do you account for that? You know what I mean? For me, I view it as, if we're affirming it, it's sort of like an anorexic is bone thin, and we're affirming that they think they're fat. If they think they're, or they think, yeah, you know what I mean?
I understand.
we wouldn't want to affirm that and say, oh yeah, go get a liposuction. So would we want to tell someone that is under gender dysphoria or has the idea that they're a woman to go get those surgeries and become sterile, infertile, and things like that?
It makes them happier. It really does. The people that people 100%, the rates of suicide among trans people is higher than the rates of cis people. That goes down by so much once they have gender affirming care procedures, whatnot.
So when it
What
do you attribute
call a spade a spade? You know.
Sure.
It makes them happier. It makes them happier.
But does it make them happier?
Yeah. I mean, straight up, like rates of suicide decreasing.
So I have to look into that more. I will look into that more after this conversation because I haven't heard that before. What do you attribute this? But even after the suicide rates, let's say they do decrease. Let me grant you that for the sake of the argument.
Yeah.
Why are they still substantially much higher than other people? What do you attribute those issues to?
That we don't live in a perfect society. I think that the rates of suicide among pretty much any marginalized group are going to be higher than the rates of not marginalized groups. That's because having things like this where people feel like they can't really be themselves.
Sure.
That they maybe their parents kicked them out. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're getting not able to get a job as easily. Maybe they just obviously not feeling at home in your own body. But yeah, things like that. I think it's important to recognize that as a society, there's not really much that you can do on a, one-on-one, I guess convincing someone no, you're not trans.
Sure.
And especially the more compassionate response tends to be just, okay, what do you need from me?
Okay, yeah. I appreciate the desire for compassion in the debate. It's not. I don't personally get anything out of trying to make someone say that they're not trans. That's definitely. We care about the well-being of the individual, not just winning an argument or. So, how do you account for their suicide rate? I know it's such a dark topic, and
I've struggled with suicide before.
Sure.
I get it.
I appreciate you being willing to talk about it. How do you account for that being substantially higher than even Jewish people in the Holocaust? You know what I mean? It's because you said they struggle to get a job, their parents might mistreat them. But we would say
I would not equate
what? Because Jews in the Holocaust were under much more.
The Holocaust is a much different world than every trans not equating not every trans person's experience is the same.
Sure.
But yeah, those are not.
I know, super intense topics. They are very different, but I would say that in those camps, they were under much greater systemic oppression. You know what I'm talking about? Their humanity was being denied, and they were actually being, as oppressed as you could possibly be. So, one at least thought maybe you could think about is could there be something in addition to this, I guess, societal injustice and cruelty and bullying that is actually mentally broken, a spiritual brokenness that is much deeper than affirming it could fix?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What I know, at least, is that in terms of spiritual happiness, the best thing that we can do is make people feel like they're accepted. That being said, this is my train.
Thank you so much. Do you have the last word?
Thank you.
Do you want to get the last word?
Be nice to people and do what if you think that they deserve. If they say that they feel a certain way and that what you can do would make them happier, then do it.
Thank you so much, Skye. It was great to talk to you. This is a gift for you.
I think I'm okay.
All right. Have a good one.